Alright, let's start this off. Um, I got this object from Tim, and he asked me how could I rotate the wheels when I move the car so that it matches the movement of the car as well. Um, well, there are a couple of things that you need to do, and thankfully Lightwave can help you out with that. Um, well, first of all, Tim, we need to separate the wheels from the car itself. Now, usually when you buy a model, or I don't know if you've made this model, but it's handy, especially if you want to animate stuff, to keep them in separate layers, because otherwise, Lightwave layout will treat it as one object, and it's very hard to start animating parts of that object. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to actually select the wheel. So I'll just move in here a bit, and we're going to select parts of the wheel, all the stuff that needs to move together with the wheel. So I'm just going to select a couple of those points or polygons, and I'm going to press the right bracket key and see if that selected everything, and it didn't. I need one of those as well, and more of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lasso select around the wheel. Oh, don't have a very steady hand here. Whoops. Okay, then press the right bracket key, and now I've got the front two wheels selected with everything inside that needs to turn, as far as I can see it here. But you can go as detailed as you want, right? I mean, you can have the axes separately as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Ctrl X, and I'm just going to cut them out. So now they're gone from the car, and I'm going to paste them in another layer. Okay, and as I said, every wheel needs to be in a separate layer. So let me just check if this is, yeah, this is kind of the whole wheel as far as I can see. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lasso select this wheel and press the right bracket key just in case, and press Ctrl X again, and I'm going to paste that in yet another layer. Okay, so we've got the car body here, and we got one wheel here and the other wheel there, and now we need to do the same for the rear wheels. Okay, let me just turn that off for a sec. Oh, sweet. Hang on, I'm just gonna quit Skype there. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm gonna lasso select the right or the rear wheels. Press the right bracket key, make sure that everything is selected. Okay, got those two. Ctrl X. I'm gonna paste them in a new layer, and I'm gonna be selecting this one. Right bracket key, Ctrl X. I'm gonna put that one in here. So now when I select all the layers, we still have the car intact. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drag it in here for you in the layer options, and you can go to, what is that, selection. Let me just close that up. Where is that at? View, layer settings. Or you can do it that way, or you can go into window, and is that layers panel. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to name the layers, because that's handy when you're working in layout, because otherwise if you load up this object you get Dodge Charger LAPD object layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4, layer 5. So that's not very handy. It's handy if you name those layers so that you exactly know which tire is in which layer. Okay, so the first layer, which is this one, I'm going to call this car body. Second layer, which is the left front wheel. This is the right front wheel. And I'm gonna here, which is the left back wheel, and the right back wheel. Okay. There's another thing that we need to do, and that's set the pivot points. Now a pivot point is just in really basic terms it allows you to set a point in where, if you're rotating or moving, or especially rotating, and lay out that object, the pivot point is basically the center point on where the object will be rotating on. So if you go to let me check, that is that detail? I always need to search. In layout it's under second tab, and I thought I was on a selection, but I'm not very sure. Or was it view? Pivot. Okay, so if you press the pivot, it allows you to set that pivot point. And what you need to do is you need to set that exactly in the middle of the wheel. And exactly that would be exactly, because that gives the best results. So I'm going to try to, just going to size it up, try to make sure that it's set in the middle. We can try to center pivot, and it doesn't really center it exactly in the middle, so I'm going to move it here, pressing the 0 key again on the numeric keypad. And then we're going to move this to the middle as well. Well, that seems to be in the middle. Okay, so now we're going to do that for all the other wheels as well. So I'm going to move that up here, and I'm going to move this one a little bit. Seems to be going good. Okay, so this wheel, center that pivot, but you need to adjust that just a little bit. And this one as well. And then for the last wheel, center pivot, and to get the wheel in all of the views, I just press the A key. That fits the object into all the views. Okay, so let's commit to that. Let me just check pivot. Commit. And just double checking. Yeah, this is okay. And the last one. Okay, good. So we've named all the layers. We put all the wheels in a separate layers, and the car in one separate layer, and then we set the pivot point in the middle. Now, there's one last thing that we need to do, and that's to measure the height of the wheel. And we need that because I'm going to use relativity in Lightwave layout, which allows us to have layout actually calculate how fast the wheel should be rotating depending on how fast the car is going, instead of you doing it manually. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to, and I always need to find those tools. Is it on a view? I don't think so. We need the measure tool. Should be under detail. The measure tool. And this simply is drawing a line from up here to down there, and then in the status panel here it'll show you the length of the wheel. So that's 2.42 meters. That's a very big car. Oh, it's a bit too high. We just zoom in a bit. So let's try to make sure that it fits, because otherwise the calculation won't be as you want it to be. So let's say 2.4 meters. Okay, 2.4 meters. Good. Pressing the 0 on the numeric keypad again to go back into quad view. Let's save this object out. So save, and let's send that over to layout. Okay, here what we need to tell layout is, first I'm gonna change this into a quad view. If we choose the car body, as you can see here, you see the naming of the layers coming back here. I'll choose the car body. If I now move this car body, you'll notice that the wheels will stay put. And that's because it's now like 5 different objects. So you need to tell Lightwave that it should treat it for movement as one. You're going to press Ctrl Z to put that back. Now, a couple of ways about doing that. One is choose, for instance, the left front wheel. Press M for motions options. And then say that the parent is the car body. Now, if I go back into the car body and move it, you notice that that one wheel is moving together with the car. Okay. There's a quicker way, because we now have more than one object to set its parent, and you simply can go into Scene Editor, choose all the wheels that are left, well, not left, but haven't been parented yet, and just simply drag them underneath the car body, like so. This means that now that all the wheels are parented to the car body. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is choose the car body again, and let's say that at frame 0 we want this car to be here. Okay, and then I've got auto key on, and then at frame 120 I want the car to be there. So now if I slide through the timeline, you'll notice that the car is actually moving. But what you also notice that if I zoom in a bit, or better yet, I'll better show you here. You'll notice that the wheels are simply sliding. I mean, they're not rotating. So now we're going to be fixing that. So I'm going to choose the left front wheel. I'm going to press the motions options again, and I'm going to say add modifier, and I'm going to choose relativity. Okay, I think I forgot his name. He did a tutorial on this as well. Darn! Now I need to know. Now I need to know his name. Just give me a sec. Right, it's William Vaughan. How could I forget? Okay, what we need to do is, and just in case you don't know that exactly, we need to turn this wheel on its pitch. So if I press Y for rotate, you get the kind of all the axis rotation possibilities here, and we need to turn it on the green one. So if I turn the green one, you notice that down here the pitch is actually changing now. Okay, so I'm going to press Ctrl Z. So we need to know, now know that we need to turn this on the pitch. So M for motions options, relativity module. So pitch, this one, right? And we're going to create an expression for this, and we can have Lightwave do that for us. And we're using the Dr. Wheel Rotator. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick the item that is driving the rotation, and that's actually the car body. So I'm going to pick an object, and I'm going to say it's the car body. Okay. Let's say okay. Then it asks for the wheel diameter, which is 2.4 meters. Okay. And here's the expression. Continue. Just going to close that up. And while I have this still in rotation mode, so to say, I'm going to simply drag the timeline, and you'll notice that the wheel is actually moving together with the car, and it's rotating as well. So now the only thing we need to left to do is do the same thing for the other wheels, which isn't too difficult. So Dr. Wheel Rotator, pick an item, which is the car body, which is it always will be, 2.4 meters. Okay, continue, and we'll choose the left back wheel and add the relativity module pitch. Whoops, that's not the pitch, this is the pitch. Wheel rotator, pick an item, car body, 2.4 meters. Okay, continue. And then for the last right back wheel, we'll do the same. Okay, P. That should set us up. So if I now do T, or actually don't need T, just move the timeline, and you'll notice that the car is actually moving. Now for this to work, you cannot simply have no keyframes for the movement of the body. Okay, so if I will go to the car body and go to frame 120 and delete that frame, it could be that because we still had the calculations done that it's still moving now. Yeah, it is. And actually that's because there's a new keyframe set. Now if I go back to 0, let's find that car. Where is it at? There it is. Now you notice that it isn't moving at all. I think, at least you think it's not moving, because if I move it here and let go, and since I've got auto key on, it creates a keyframe at 0, but it's still the only keyframe it has, so it doesn't know how to rotate or how much to rotate the car, because there's a starting point but no end point. So if I have the car here, I just move this one up to, say, frame 51 and move the car again. Now the wheels are rotating, because now it can calculate between the two keyframes. Okay? Well, that's about it. And let me know if you have any other questions. And good luck with you.